Talk Africa, live from the Voice of America studios here in Washington. It's Wednesday, April 6th. I am Shaka Ssali. Today, we'll talk about the crisis in the Ivory Coast as the leadership stalemate nears an end. The political crisis in the Ivory Coast seems to be reaching a climax. The resulting humanitarian crisis is growing rapidly and having a major destabilizing impact in Liberia and elsewhere in the region. Over 1,000 people have died in the conflict. An estimated 1 million people have been displaced. Thousands are stranded amidst the violence in Abidjan, and medical personnel are unable to treat the needy. Laurent Gbagbo is surrounded by opposition forces at his residence and has not surrendered. My colleague Paul Sisco has more on the story.
UN peacekeepers and French forces attacked Gbagbo military targets Monday, firing on 2 army camps and positions near the presidential palace in the main city of Abidjan.
There has been too much bloodshed, including hundreds of civilians killed or wounded.
The UN says the attacks were necessary to prevent the use of heavy weapons, mortars, and further attacks against civilians and UN peacekeepers. UN Under-Secretary General Alassane Ouattara.
We are shooting at heavy weapons. We are not shooting at the presidency. We are shooting where the heavy weapons are. If there was not heavy weapons shelled at us and shelled at the civil population in the recent days, we will not have undertaken this operation.
Youssoufou Bamba, Ivory Coast ambassador to the United Nations.
Mr. Gbagbo is a shame for Africa. He's a dictator which we are killing his own people just to cling to power. It's a shame. And this election, this issue, this world issue, is a real test for Africa, for democracy in Africa.
The Gbagbo camp called the attacks illegal, amounting to an assassination attempt, and said the French, who took control of the airport in Abidjan last weekend, were behaving like an occupation army. Toussaint Alain is a key aide to Laurent Gbagbo.
The United States and France are not entitled to determine and decide who is able to conduct the destiny of the Ivory Coast.
The U.S. strongly supported the action. U.S. Assistant Secretary of State Johnny Carson.
It was essential in order to end this cycle of bloodshed. The longer Gbagbo was in power, the more difficult it was going to be to remove him, and the more bloodshed and violence we expected. This was a test case not only for the Ivory Coast, it was a test case for democracy in Africa. This is a sign. This is a signal. The ballot must be respected. Democratic aspirations that are desired by Africa's people must be heard, must be respected. And the international community will, in fact, act if the situation warrants.
Also Tuesday, ICC prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo began calling for an investigation into crimes against humanity committed under the 10-year rule of Laurent Gbagbo. Now, forces supporting Alassane Ouattara, the internationally recognized president of Ivory Coast, are closing in on the incumbent president, reportedly still defiant and looking for a way out. Paul Sisco, VOA News.